Hindi is not India's national language. So, Union Home Minister Amit Shah's recent comments about Hindi are problematic. He said that when Indians from different states talk to each other, it should be in Hindi, the language of India, and not in English. He also said that the time has come to make Hindi an important part of the unity of the country. Now, although Hindi is not the national language, Amit Shah's recent statements raise two questions. Is Hindi really the language of India, widely spoken across the country? And what does history tell us about the debate over Hindi versus English? Let me explain. But before I dive into that, I just want to quickly remind you that stories like this take a lot of time, effort, and resources, which is why we can't continue to do what we do without you. So do become a member of the News Minute today. The link is in the description. And to catch every episode of Let Me Explain, which comes out every Friday, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So there's a long-standing belief that most people in India speak Hindi. If you go by the 2011 census, nearly 44% of India speaks Hindi. But if you take a closer look at the data, it isn't what it seems. Out of the 35 states and union territories in India at the time, only 12 speak Hindi as their first language. And this is largely confined to the northern and central parts of India. A majority of the states, including most southern and northeastern states, use English as their alternative language. In fact, the proportion of Hindi speakers is the least in the South, Gujarat, West Bengal, and most parts of Northeast India. So, what explains this nearly 44% figure of Hindi speakers? There are two reasons. One, the high population growth in North and Central India has resulted in a rise in Hindi speakers. Two, many languages and dialects are categorized as Hindi in the census. This includes languages like Haryanvi, Bhojpuri, Rajasthani, among others. In fact, in an article in The Hindu, G.N. Devi, who heads the People's Linguistic Survey of India, wrote that over 50 languages are classified as Hindi. This would mean that the percentage of people who speak Hindi as a first language would in reality be less than 32%. Now, when we talk about the idea of a national language or even a linked language, we can't forget history. It was back in 1949 that the Constituent Assembly, which was drafting India's constitution, debated the need for a national language. And no, Hindi wasn't the only language that was in the reckoning. Members also pitched Sanskrit, Hindustani, and Bengali to be made the national language. The debate over a national language was as emotive and passionate as it is today. Those in favor of a national language argued that it would help unite the country. Those against pointed out that it would be an imposition of Hindi on non-Hindi speakers, and it would also put them at a great disadvantage. Eventually, the Constituent Assembly struck a compromise, known now as the Munshi Iyengar formula. It decided that the Constitution of India would have no national language. Instead, for 15 years, Hindi and English would be used as official languages, and that later Parliament could substitute Hindi as the sole official language. As the 15-year deadline approached, the Parliament passed the Official Languages Act in 1963. The vague wording of the Act gave scope for Hindi to be made the sole official language. This prompted Annadurai's DMK to launch an agitation. Soon, Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru was forced to promise that English would continue as an official language. But a year later, Nehru passed away, and there was another push by the Lal Bahadur Shastri government to make Hindi the only official language. Anti-Hindi agitations rocked Madras state in January 1965. Many were killed, property was destroyed, and thousands of DMK workers and students were arrested. The agitation came to an end only after Prime Minister Shastri announced on February 11, 1965 that English would be used for official communication and that the All India Civil Services exam would also be held in English. Eventually, in 1967, the Indira Gandhi government amended the Official Languages Act, guaranteeing that together with Hindi, English would indefinitely be used for official communication. Now, the Constitution also recognizes 22 languages under the 8th schedule. This means that the Union government must promote these languages. They can be used in the All India Civil Services exam and other benefits. In fact, there are demands that 38 more languages be included under the 8th schedule. So, for Amit Shah to promote Hindi over English willfully ignores India's fraught history. And for him to suggest that Hindi play a part in India's unity would not only weaken India's diverse and pluralistic society, but also serve to create more divisions. What story or issue would you like us to delve into in the next episode of Let Me Explain? Tell us in the comments. And if you've liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button and share this video with your friends.